thinking what it might mean, what it could mean. And that's important because that is using modality. Let me ask you, how much do you or your students use modality in the class? It may be, it might be, it could be. That's the enabling language they need for discussion and opinion. Not it is. But students are prescriptive. Teachers are prescriptive. Exams are prescriptive. We have to say it is. We assume there is a right answer. Well, there isn't always a right answer. And what our students need to be evaluated on when they are making progress as readers is their progress in being able to negotiate linguistically with these texts and about these texts. And that's why textual intervention becomes a very important concept here. Textual intervention is rewriting the text. And we're going to do that now. You see there the words in the middle. I cannot escape. I'm going to ask you a very important question, and you need to think about it. The question is, would it be different if? Would it be different if, instead of I cannot escape, it said no escape? And you see what happens? You're having to think about it. Because most of us have not been trained to think about language in that way. Think about alternatives. Think about what difference it would make. So I need to help the students, because I know that my students certainly can't answer that question. So I ask them in a different way. Which, for you, is stronger? I cannot escape, or no escape? And I get an answer this time. Because I've helped the students by asking the right question. That's the problem. We've got to choose the right text and ask the right questions. Ask the wrong questions, you get no response. Ask the right questions, you help the students to make progress. That is an art and a science. That's what makes it difficult. That's why teachers are scared of teaching this kind of text. Of course, there is no right answer to the question which is stronger. Because you could argue, I cannot escape is stronger because it's personal. It's subjective. Or you could say, no escape is stronger because it's more general. The correct answer is not the point. The thinking, the processing is the point. And at that point, we can move on and link with one word to another text. Again, which you've seen before. You ask me if I have ever been to prison. Been to prison? Your world of murderers and thieves, of hatred and jealousy, and you ask me if I've ever been to prison. I answer yes. I'm still there, trying to escape. Now here I want to introduce you to one of the tricks of the teaching trade. Binaries. Binaries come in how many? Binaries come in twos. Good and bad, male and female, night and day, right and wrong. The whole world is divided, and texts in a representational manner use these contrasts to make the dynamic of the text. Can you find any obvious binaries in this text for me, please? Obvious binary.
In prison and out.
Prison and, give me a word. There's a binary. Prison, escape. Another one? All right, ask, answer. Now that is in lesson 1 of every language teaching book in the universe. Ask and answer. What about the pronouns?
You and me.
You and I. Prison and escape. Now listen, if my students can tell me after they've read this text involves 2 protagonists, 2 characters, 2 people, doesn't matter what they say. One asking, one answering, one in prison and one not, talking about escape. They've got the text. They've grasped the basic dynamic of the text. What about these words there? Because I know that many of the students don't know these words. What can you tell me about these words? Are they all the same kind of word? I want a yes or no answer.
No.
So someone said no, so somebody else please say yes. Are they the same kind of word? Yes, thanks. Because they're all negative, so they're the same in that sense. And they're all what kind of words? Verbs? Adjectives? Nouns. They're all nouns. But they are also different, aren't they? Murderers and thieves are people, countable, plural. Hatred and jealousy, abstract emotions. Now that is how we want our students to read. If they cannot see that these are nouns and plural and to do with people, and nouns and singular and emotions, they do not know grammar. It is as simple as that. And we are paid, very badly, but we are paid to teach them the language. The language involves grammar. Knowing that singular and plural are different. Knowing that nouns are not all the same. But does the dictionary meaning of these words matter here? I don't think it does. Because I think what matters is the negativity. You could put any other negative word in there. Your world of murderers. Think of a replacement for the word murderers. It's very easy. George Bush. George Bush, Blair, Mexican flu, and SARS. That would fit. And it doesn't change how the text means. It changes the lexical meaning of a few items. It doesn't change the overall meaning of the text. The dictionary meaning of lots of words is our students' primary obsession. They are wrong. And we are wrong to indulge in that with them. We are not walking dictionaries. We're not paid enough to be walking dictionaries. We're not paid enough anyway. Therefore, we need them to be working towards vocabulary autonomy. Because they will never read well unless they can be vocabulary autonomous. We have to encourage them to think about the individual lexical items as well as the overall text. But I want to show you something even more important. And again, it's to do with grammar. The verbs. Our old friend, the present perfect. Most of my students would prefer if we could just abolish the present perfect. Students don't like the present perfect. It's difficult. You know what? Sorry. Tough. We've got the present perfect and we're going to have to live with it. And I choose texts very often that have the present perfect in them because the way to help students absorb the language